Legend. Absolute legend. Hey everyone, Jeremy here. Someone brought up to me in the comments that I should probably make a video about the passing of David Prowse, and I agree. It's never easy to talk about losing one of Star Wars royalty, which he very much so is. A lot of people, himself included, did not always give him the credit he deserved for the work he did as Darth Vader. That tends to go to James Earl Jones. Most of the credit tends to go to him. And if you don't know, famously, he was unaware that his voice was going to get dubbed over in A New Hope. He literally thought he was acting the whole part. If you watch any of the behind the scenes, that man was acting his heart out. He was truly giving a performance, not knowing his voice would be dubbed over. But that doesn't take away from what he actually accomplished. Vader would not be Vader without him. The way he moved, the stature, every little nuance that he gave to the character, that is Vader. Just as much as James Earl Jones, he deserves credit for Vader. He brought a gravitas to that character that, honestly, people are going to be imitating for the rest of their lives. You can put on the suit, that's fine. But just the way he held himself, that regal, that, I used it already, gravitas. He brought to Vader that imposing figure, the way he held himself, the way he moved. It was all very deliberate. He was doing acting. He was acting. So that's why Prowse, even himself, always felt like he got kind of neglected in the higher echelons of Star Wars, because most people didn't realize what he brought to the role. Now, I shouldn't say most people. Fans and people who've seen behind the scenes, things like that, we all know. We know what he did for Vader. It's more popularly recognized that James Earl Jones did the voice. Yeah, so I don't want to sit here and say like no one knows. We absolutely know. The Star Wars fans especially, we know. But that's what makes this really harder than most. Most people, when we lost Carrie, everyone, there was no question how much she meant to Star Wars, or pretty much the world in general. But with David, it takes a lot of people being told he was Darth Vader. There are so many people that if you say the name David Prowse, they're not gonna know who that is. But if you say Carrie Fisher, that being my point, he was such an important part of Star Wars. So the reason I'm basically making this video is to make sure that anybody sees it knows. That man, without him, Vader would not be the same. Vader would not be that imposing figure that we know. He just wouldn't. David Prowse, though even in Empire and Jedi, he knew his voice was going to get dubbed over, that man still came in, did his job. He acted. He made Vader his own physically. He wasn't going to get the voice, so he was given the rest, and he made the best with it. And that made Vader. You don't have Vader without David Prowse, just like you don't have Vader without James Earl Jones. Making this even harder is he passed due to COVID. The man had fought a couple of illnesses. He had fought, from what I understand, he'd fought prostate cancer. He had arthritis, because he's a big guy and he used to be a bodybuilder, so it takes its toll. And there was talk that he had some memory issues even now later in life. Whether or not it was an illness or just aging, unknown. But at the same time, this is a guy who battled cancer and won. And now this horrible is finally what got him. So I guess this video is more or less me making sure you're aware, and even I'm aware, of how important this man was to Star Wars. How important this man was to Vader. And the crazy thing is often as much as he always felt like he got sidelined, there are very famous stories on this, by the way. I'm not, there are some very famous stories about him talking about how sidelined he felt in the Star Wars family. So as sidelined as he felt, the fans loved him. And you know what? He still loved Star Wars. If you've ever seen the man talk, he was proud of being Vader. He was proud of being a part of the Star Wars family. Even if he did have some negative feelings about, some stickier sides, he still loved it. He was still so proud of it. He didn't let the negative take away from the positive. He'll always be Darth Vader. He'll always be remembered as that. How many of us can be so lucky? All right. Why don't you leave me your comments below on what you think of David Prowse, what you think he means to the community, what he means to you. Leave those thoughts below. Let's put some kind words out there for a man who brought one of the most beloved villains of all time to life. I know it's not easy talking about this. It's never easy when we lose one of the family, but I think it helps. And quite frankly, the more positive we can be and loving we can be to these people when they pass, and especially while they're still alive, we should do that. Maybe even send some kind words out there to our favorite living Star Wars actors. Maybe make a nice note in Twitter or in social media, in your social media of choice today. Just make sure they're all aware of how much they mean to you while we still have them. I just hope David knew. Okay, on that note, if you liked this video, please hit like and subscribe to see more like it. As always, before I go, please take care of yourselves and please take care of each other. Thank you for watching.